Welcome to Redox Real Talk. I'm Joni.
I'm Hunter.
And today, I hope you brought your glasses. I hope you brought your notebooks. We're diving into the science. We're going to do a little, I want to say Science 101, but maybe it's more like a higher level.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully it's like Science 990.
Yeah.
We're going to give everybody a minute to hop on. You guys know I love doing giveaways. We're doing a big giveaway today. I'm going to give 5 of you ASEA Redox cell signaling supplement, and I'll even give you pouches if you request pouches, because I like those, especially now that's warming. Well, it's not warming up here, but it's starting to get warmer everywhere else. Okay, we've got a bunch of people on. Wave at us, tell us where you're from, ask your science questions. Do you know what redox means? Any questions that you might have about how cell signaling works. And I'm gonna walk over and close the door, so don't think that this is awkward. And I'm gonna let Hunter give a little intro on what redox is.
Cool. So while Joni's doing that, reduction and oxidation, right? So redox is a contraction of 2 words, reduction and oxidation. In most fields of chemistry, it has to do with forming bonds, right? And so things are bonded together, and that's what creates new compounds. In redox chemistry, bonds aren't formed, rather little tiny particles called electrons are transferred. And these electrons possess a high level of energy. And so when you transfer an electron in a very real way, you transfer energy. So redox, in a very simplistic way, is how energy is transferred through the body. So that's what we mean when we say redox. It's simply a contraction of 2 words, reduction and oxidation.
Oxidation, not oxification. They're
Oxidation.
different words.
Yeah, oxidation. And in chemistry class, those of you who took chemistry in high school may remember the term oil rig. Oxidation is loose, O-I-L.
Okay.
Reduction is gain, R-I-G.
Okay, so it's like a ad versus ab. Adduction, abduction.
Yeah. So you have an electron being transferred. The reduced species, or reduction, is gaining an electron.
I see what they did there.
Right? You have the oxidized species, which is losing an electron.
Okay, that's already helped me. We've got Becky from Mississippi. What's up, Becky? And I saw a question come in about a binder. Looks like Jody's asking, do I need to take a binder with ASEA? And I wonder if that's like I'm forgive me if I'm on the wrong track, but I know with like essential oils, sometimes when you're using them, you're supposed to use a binder. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's where that question is coming from. That is not the case, right?
No, it's not. And actually, one of the things that's so unique about ASEA is the bioavailability of ASEA.
Which means how easily it can be absorbed and utilized by your body, correct?
Exactly.
Okay, little vocab lesson.
Yeah.
I'm learning.
She's got
I'm learning.
She's got it. Again, so redox signaling molecules are already made in your body. Okay.
That's why if you guys ever hear that they're native to the body or natural to the body, or your body already uses them, that's a lot of our brand partners talk that way. That's what that means. You already do it yourself. Your body already has them. This is like an extra dose of them, correct?
Yep, exactly. So a little bit of the nerdy part, and then we'll break it down here. Within the cells, there are mitochondria, which are the powerhouse.
The powerhouse of the cells. I know all
it.
my other millennials know that.
Yep. While the mitochondria is creating ATP, which is fuel for your cells, there are other species that spin off of these reactions called redox signaling molecules.
Okay.
These redox signaling molecules are signal for your cells to do important functions.
That's where the on-off switch that you've talked about comes into play.
Exactly.
Okay.
So these cells don't have brains. They don't get to decide what they do. They're not sentient. They don't get to make decisions.
To be told.
If they're told to do something, they do something.
Okay.
Right? And so these signals, these redox signaling molecules, enter the cell and tell the cell to do a certain thing.
Whether that is, what are some examples of what it might be doing?
Yeah, one of the examples is an immune function, right?
Oh,
if there's an external threat to the body, a lot of times redox signaling molecules can signal for the body to respond to that external stressor.
Take care of this thing, whatever it may be. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes perfect sense why it's so good for immune support.
Exactly, yeah.
I get it. I'm getting it.
Yep. So these redox signaling molecules are being made within the mitochondria of cell as part of the Krebs cycle. They're spinning off as ATP is being created. The challenge is that your mitochondrial function in a large part has to do with your lifestyle. And even further beyond that into the genetic code that you have, right? Your genes are different than my genes, but they all kind of stem back to similar origin.
Right.
And the genetic code for humans has evolved slowly over millennia, right? Mm-hmm. Technology changes very quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
And so the landscape that we find ourselves in today is very different than humans 10,000 years ago.
So not only like the stressors that we have, but the pollution and the way that we live our life and the amount of time we may or may not be in the sun and what we're eating. You had mentioned in one of our previous lives about even the phytonutrients, like what our food is made up of has even changed.
Yeah, because of rapid population growth in monocrop agriculture, in order to sustain that population growth, our food is different, the way that we rest is different, the way that we work is different, the amount of pollution that we're exposed to.
But our bodies haven't kept up with all of that.
Exactly.
So we're not making, guys, I just had a major light bulb moment. So we're not making enough of these molecules to keep up with all of these advancements, changes, whatever they're called.
Exactly. The landscape in which we find ourselves today is much more stressful from a physical standpoint than many, many years ago.
Yeah, maybe you're not stressed. Maybe your brain is not feeling stressed, but your body is under these stressors, whether you feel stressed mentally or not.
Yep.
Just making it clear that we're not talking about mental clarity and stress. We're talking about the stress that your cells are put under just trying to do their everyday functions.
Yep, exactly. So you have your body who is genetically coded to make a certain number of these redox signaling molecules, but you have an environment that is very different from which the genetic code is able to respond.
And it's like the environment evolved like this, and our bodies are still not caught up to what the external lives we're living have done.
Yep, exactly.
Bring in, hey,
ASEA.
We found a way to help you do this.
Yep, exactly. So that imbalance that's occurring because you have more stressors than your response mechanism can handle, we help to find that balance by supplementing redox signaling molecules with our ASEA redox supplement.
He keeps pointing. This is what we're pointing
Sorry,
at.
it's off screen. There it is.
Don't worry, I'll hold it for
yes.
you guys.
So what we have done in the breakthrough in ASEA is not necessarily just being able to generate these redox species, but to stabilize them to allow supplementation.
So that is something that is hard. When I tell people that I work at ASEA, they ask what I do, what products do we make, and it's hard to explain because it is very niche. It is like the product ingredients say salt and water, and then I have to explain, yes, it's very pure water, it's very pure salt, and it's infused with active redox molecules. And are we the only people that have figured out how to do this? Ours is patented, correct?
Yeah, we have several patents and over 1,000 points of trade secret now in our manufacturing process to protect this technology and the competitive advantage that we have.
Well, and we're very strict about testing and making sure that what you receive is still containing active molecules. So I would be shocked if you have ever tried a competing product, if there even is any, if the amount of active molecules are even remotely close. Sure.
And it's really interesting. We're in an interesting environment right now where science is beginning to realize the importance of these redox signaling molecules. The past 20 years in health and wellness, a major flag had been planted around antioxidants.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody recognizes the word antioxidant.
Yeah, it's big when you're buying juices, when you're buying food.
Yep. Which, again, quick note, antioxidant, meaning the opposite of oxidant, is simply a reductant, right? So reductants, oxidants, redox.
Yes.
So they've been only playing one side of that redox equation. What's important to know is that balance is what matters, right? And so this redox response has to go in both ways, which is only possible through the native redox signaling molecules.
That your body already creates, that we're helping you with.
Exactly. It doesn't make enough of them, so we have the supplement
so
to help you have more.
them.
So that's kind of the idea. These redox signaling molecules are tiny, high-energy molecules. Because they are so tiny, they can be absorbed directly into the cell. Once they're absorbed into the cell, they act like an on-off switch, turning on those signals, right? Okay. We're starting to turn on functions to the cell.
Hey, fight those bad germs. Hey, we've got to, do this, do that.
Yeah. And what's really interesting about that is once a cell begins to kind of go to work, it begins to signal to the cells around it Those cells signal to the cells around them, beginning what we call the cascade or domino.
Okay, I was gonna say that sounds like a okay, if they're gonna do better, I'm gonna do better. It's like a team, right?
Yep.
Like when you see your teammates doing better, it makes you want to do better.
Yep, exactly.
Wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
And then this cascade or domino effect is what contributes to this resilience to stress, this overall wellness, right? When we talk about those external stressors. Again, we mean physical stressors. You may be stressed mentally, but we mean physiological stressors.
We have a product for that too, though. Have you tried mine?
We do. That physiological stress needs a response, right? And that response requires a certain amount of energy to turn on the signal to do so. These high energy molecules donate their energy to create the signal to help the body respond to those external stressors.
Okay, I don't know, guys. I feel like I learned a lot. I wish I would have been taking notes. We're going to go back through and just answer a couple of questions. I'm seeing some questions about what time of day and should I swoosh and some stuff that we actually answered last week. And you can go back if you go to the ASEA Global Instagram, click on the option to watch previous reels, not in the main feed, it's just one over. And you can actually watch all of our past lives. And we did just a FAQ, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and we answered a ton of these questions. We're going to talk about them really quickly, but just in case we miss any. Yes, we swoosh, and it doesn't matter how long you swoosh for. We recommend 30 seconds, correct?
Yeah, anywhere 15 to 30 seconds is okay.
Anything is better because digestion begins in the mouth, right? And absorption.
Yeah, absorption, right?
Not
so
digestion.
this works through absorption, not digestion, which is a unique feature of the product, right? Most supplements that you take require digestion. This, because they're tiny molecules, are absorbed directly into the cells.
Thank you. Sorry, I mixed that up. Make sure you listen to the rest of that. Okay, so yes, we swoosh. I think that was Carolyn's question. Keep it simple. Tell them to swoosh for about 30 seconds. Somebody else asked the time of day. And the time of day does not matter. Consistency matters. Take it consistently at whatever time of day you're going to take it. Another one that I saw come up was, should I do 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening? And that's kind of the same thing, right? It's just whatever's going to be best for your schedule and what you're going to be consistent at. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if you split it. The functionalities are all going to be the same. Do whatever's going to work best for you. I've got another question about glutathione. Sorry, I'm trying to read it, Vanessa. Friend who has, I don't know what that is, and I don't think I'm allowed to say it on this live. I don't foresee there being a lot of issues, medical issues or not, that would not allow you to take ASEA, but we always recommend talking to your medical provider or physician before you do if you have health concerns. So we don't have the liberty to say, yeah, for sure it'll help you. We always have to direct you to talk to your care provider.
What I would say on that is, again, this product is a dietary supplement in the United States. It is not a pharmaceutical. It's not intended to treat, cure, diagnose any medical condition. We do have some data around glutathione production. So our research with the University of Bath in the UK and the University of Western Sydney showed the increase in the signaling of the NRF2 pathway in cells that had been exposed to the product. NRF2 is an interesting pathway because it's one of the principal pathways that the body has to respond to those external stressors that we talked about.
Okay. I hear NRF2 a lot, but I'll be honest, I didn't really know the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, there's a lot that it does, but one of the primary roles that NRF2 is to address oxidative stress coming in from environmental stressors.
Okay.
One of the ways that it does that is through the production of a protective protein called glutathione, which was mentioned in the question here. Mm-hmm. Cells that are exposed to redox signaling molecules produce more glutathione.
Interesting.
So if that's a challenge or something that you're trying to kind of optimize in your cellular health journey, that may be something to kind of keep in your back pocket there as far as how to boost glutathione production within the cells. Okay,
Vanessa, we hope that answered your question as compliantly as we could be. If you have more questions, please feel free to DM us. We'll do our best to respond. Someone said to shake the bottle first. Is that
not needed?
Not needed, not necessary. Does it boost? I don't know what a natural killer cell is, Kathy. I'm wondering if you're talking about immune function.
So one of the functions of NRF2 is a detox and kind of this idea of autophagy. Okay. Which is the removal of the ones that inefficient cells, like senescent cells, age cells, less efficient cells. And so there's certainly this idea of autophagy within the NRF2 pathway, but there are some other pathways that Redox talks about that we have some research going on. So I'm going to limit my comments there. But yeah.
Okay, sorry, Kathy. Again, if you have specific questions, please drop them here. Drop them in the replay if you're not watching live. That's okay. And you can always DM us with additional questions if we didn't get to yours. That's the one that was Carolyn asking about when to take it. So I hope we answered that for you, Carolyn.
And Carolyn, I'll just give you the example. I take it 3 times a day. I take 2 in the morning, 2 after lunch, and then 2 right before I go to bed. I take 6 a day. Your mileage may vary. Some people like to take it all at once. Some people like to spread it out. Really, the important part is you take it every day and that you're consistent. So whatever leads and is more conducive to you being consistent is the way to take the product.
Okay, love that. And that goes with all of our products. Just if you're taking other things, if you're taking any of the ASEA Performance line, same thing. Take it at what time works best for you. There's not a strict regimen. That's actually one of the things that we love about ASEA is that it's meant to help you specifically and that you don't have to be strict about it. It just has to be consistent. So, okay, we got lots of things, so that makes me feel good and like we're answering questions. I'm going to give some of these away. If you ask a question, you're going to be in the running for this and we'll have 5 winners. So if you want pouches, let me know on your question. If you already asked a question, you're already in the running. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.